브라질 팬 여러분 사랑해요. 여러분 꼭 만나고 싶어요. 시청해 주셔서 감사합니다. 그리고 잠시만요. Eu vou me esforçar ainda mais para que vocês fiquem orgulhosos. Eu espero encontrar todos vocês um dia.
Hey Alex, thanks so much for accepting to be interviewed. And well, the Brazilian audience already know you, and I was wondering anyway if you're able to like introduce yourself a little bit.
Yes. Hi, Brazilian bunnies. If you already know me, thank you for supporting, and I love you. And if you have no idea who I am, I was the leader and rapper in group Rania, and I'm an artist, K-pop, and international.
Awesome. Well, it's gonna be like 6 quick questions, okay? So I'm already gonna start with the controversial ones somewhat. It's not that controversial, but anyway. So here it goes. So the first one is, did you have to go through like, were you forced to adapt to the Korean beauty standard? Did you have to do like any sort of plastic surgery and stuff?
I think that when I first got there, I was so insistent. Like I really wanted to represent how I truly am and how I truly look, because there aren't a wide variety of different looks really in K-pop idols. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to show that it was cool, you know, to have curly hair, big hair, tan skin and everything. So when I first got there, I was pretty like strong on, I want to look like myself. I don't want to change anything. And then by the time the second album came, I was so exhausted from doing my own hair. Like I had to get up 2 hours early to wash it and let it dry, because then we would go to hair and makeup and I would just be sitting there waiting for them to get it done. So I couldn't do my hair while they're doing their hair. So I had to get up super early, and you know, curly hair can be like very hard to deal with. Mm-hmm. So by the time it was the second album, I was like, fine, straighten it, do what you want to do, because I'm too tired. And so looking back, I do kind of feel like if there had been someone who could have done my hair, mm-hmm. then that would have been nice. But since there wasn't, I feel like I was kind of pushed into conforming a bit, because it was either wake up really early and be exhausted with the already crazy schedule, or just and let my hair be straight.
So but besides that, you didn't have to do anything else, right? Like
I didn't do plastic surgery or the fat the injections. Like I was told about that when I first got there. They were like, that's an option. And but the boss of my company, he was like very cool. He wasn't the kind to be like, you have to do this, you have to do that.
Oh, that's cool.
So I'm very all that. Yeah, I wasn't in a position where I had to
because
be like,
I feel like the Brazilian audience, they think that K-pop scene is super harsh. Everyone is super like trying to make you forced to do something that you don't want to do.
I think that's actually right for the most part. I think there is a lot of that, but for me specifically, I was pretty lucky to have a boss who didn't, you know, get very forceful, like do this, do that. There were certain things where it was strict, but as far as like looks and plastic surgery and all that crazy stuff, he did not push that kind of thing on me.
That's cool. I feel like that's a big surprise to a lot of people in Brazil, at least.
I was scared. I was like, what's going to happen when I get here?
Well, so the second question is, well, you just said that your boss is super chill, but did you have to go through any like harsh dieting? Or did you feel like you had to do any sort of dieting?
There is a lot of pressure because the company, they do, you know, check your weight and everything. So there is definitely a pressure to be thin and be small. And I think in a lot of ways, my body type isn't supposed to be like a stick. Like, I think that even when I eat as healthy as I eat, I still have curves, and like, they're just, you know, I can't change that. Honestly, I wouldn't change it. Like I like my body. But I did feel both from the company and also from the way that fans react, like the K-nets can be.
Oh, I heard about them. That you're a little bit more harsh with your comments, right?
Yeah, they're a little harsh because for me, like the other girls in the group, it's like, okay, maybe I was a little like bigger than they were, but they were so small. They were like, they were so skinny. And so when I saw comments, like they showed me like, yeah, they're calling us fat. And I'm like,
Oh,
I was like, me? Okay, I get it.
that's so
But like,
bad for you
you,
to have to read those things. I would ignore it, right?
yeah, I was pretty good at ignoring it. But like for some girls, it's like trainees who have been training for so many years since they're young and they're
Mhm.
under so much pressure from like
Oh, I
their company.
see.
And then when they debut, then suddenly K-nets are giving them so much pressure. It could be really hard to ignore it. And so I
Mhm.
definitely saw my share of people have a hard time struggling with weight issues because of what we went through with. Mhm.
So, and also like you were the first Black K-pop idol, right? And
Mhm.
I was wondering if you ever felt like some sort of prejudice with the Korean society. Like, have you ever felt discriminated? And
Yeah, there were a few times when some things happened that really were shocking. And
Mhm.
actually one of them happened when a Brazilian trainee was with the company. And I talk about it in my book. I tell the whole story. But
Oh,
when the Brazilian trainee was there and it happened, I like looked at her because I was hoping she didn't see because she was brand new, she was just a trainee just getting there. So I didn't want her to have that kind of perception because in a lot of ways, I think the Korean audience was like very kind and accepting of me. And a lot of producers backstage at shows were very kind and accepting of me. So I didn't want to have this, like, for her to have this picture of Korea that it was like this was the kind of thing that happened all the time.
mhm.
But yeah, there were a few situations where I was very blatantly like called out or discriminated against, and it was weird and it was really hard. It hurt really really badly.
Mhm.
But on a whole, I felt very embraced actually by Korea.
And what about your company? They treated you pretty well, right? Mm.
Uh, I feel like in Korea, like the public, the fans, like really embraced me a lot. But I think within the company, it was difficult because being the first and
Mhm.
being so different, it's like nobody really knew exactly what to prepare for. And it's not malicious, it's not mean, but a lot of times when you haven't experienced something, you just don't know. So like little things, like I said with my hair, like to not have black hair products, not have curly hair products. It's like, yeah, for me, I know, like if I'm working with somebody with textured hair, I know what they need. But in Korea, where they never dealt with my hair,
Mhm.
they literally didn't even think of it. They had no idea. So there were a lot of things like that where I think being different just caused a lot of confusion for
Oh, I
people.
see.
And it was a process to try to work through it and find a way to make it work.
Can you share a little bit about your training life? Did you have to train for a lot of years and whatnot?
So fortunately, I
Mhm.
wish I had gotten an opportunity actually to train because when I got there, I debuted in like 2 weeks. So
Mm.
I, yeah, and I came to Korea. Like I found out I was going to Korea. I immediately went to Korea and then I didn't realize that I was going to debut so fast. So I didn't know any Korean. I really didn't know the culture. And obviously, I didn't know a single person. Like, so just getting there and being like really alone and trying to figure out the language and all that. And then debut, like, on top of that, the stress of having to record my parts, shoot a music video, learn the dances. You have to learn all of the Rania dances from like the beginning, like since Dr. Feelgood, you learn all of this. So for me to have 14 days to
Mhm.
like learn everything and to be in a completely new world, it was like
Mhm.
so hard and stressful. And I think that it was kind of thrown together. If I really am honest, I feel like if I had been given even a year or even 6 months, like 6 months training would have been amazing because I could have gotten the language and just acclimated to Korea and had a
Mhm.
moment to breathe before debuting. So I feel like my whole thing was kind of rushed. I think they were a little too excited to debut me. And so it was like, she can do it. Just go, 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 do it, do it, do it. And I
Mhm.
wanted to be professional. So I was like, yeah, let's go. I can do it. But looking back, I know it would have been a lot better if I had had at least 6 months to train. And, a lot of girls train for like 8 years. So.
Mhm. But but you used to dance and sing already before getting to move to Korea, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
the reason I didn't have to train that long is because the boss of the company was like, you've already been training. Like at that point, I already had American record deals, American publishing deals, and I already had like I was dancing every day, like 6 hours a day. Like I basically lived my life in America like I was a trainee. So for them, they're like, oh, you're good. You know, as long as you pass the dance audition, which I did, they're like, you're gonna be fine. You pass the singing audition, you're good to go. But when it comes to being an idol, I think there's a lot more to the training process than just singing and dancing. Like they get a chance to really bond with each other. Like you see Twice, for example.
Yes. Uh-huh.
I love
Oh, I love
Twice.
them. Oh, cool. Did you
Mhm.
get to meet them like by any chance backstage?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
wow.
met Twice a lot. Yeah, actually, like I think it was their debut when it was our debut in
Mm,
2015.
uh-huh.
UA, I think was that their debut? UA?
Yeah.
It was when I first heard of them. But
Mhm.
so I met them then, and then like for comebacks, I was always around them. But they're really like you could tell they're friends. Like they really get
Oh,
along.
that's so
Yeah,
cool.
it's
Yeah, because we never know. Like we only get to see like whatever they show, but I feel
yeah.
like it's genuine.
Yeah, like with them, I feel like every time I saw them backstage, like they were genuinely friends. And I think when I think of the training process, it's so much more than singing and dancing. It's about like working so hard together and forming that bond so you know you
Mhm.
trust each other, you know everyone has your back. To
Yes.
rush and have no training, but everyone else had been training together so long, it was like I needed one more thing to make me different. You know, like I was already so different. And then it's like, oh, also she didn't train. You know, here she is.
Oh.
There's a
Uh-huh.
bonding that's important with
Mhm.
training.
So the next question is that Brazil is aware about a group that just got to debut recently, which is Black Swan, and there's a Brazilian girl and a girl from Senegal, right?
Yes.
And they're getting a lot of attention because of that. And I was wondering if you got to talk to them or to see them back then when you were in Korea.
No, they were not. So there was a Brazilian trainee, but it wasn't her.
Mhm.
But it's really exciting, I think, to see somebody from Brazil to debut because I was really excited when a Brazilian trainee came because I knew how many fans Rania specifically had in Brazil. So I felt like that was going to be huge. Like if she debuted in Rania, that would be so exciting. And so I'm really
Mhm.
excited to see that, even though you know she ended up not being there. I'm still excited to see that Brazil has somebody represented. Oh my gosh, I
Mhm.
kicked the camera again. I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's fine.
um, I'm really excited for Brazil to have like someone who looks like them that they could look up to, and then I think also to have someone from Senegal and someone um, who is even like you know to have another black idol and
Yes.
somebody who has even you know different complexion than I do. There are so
Mhm.
many different shades and skin tones in the world, so I think even me being the first black idol, some people would look at me and see like I'm more light skinned and feel like they couldn't relate, like oh maybe she can be an idol because she's lighter, you know. And so I think it's really important to see somebody with darker complexion, and like I said, I would love to see people with different body shapes, different body types, because it's
Mhm.
so important for K-pop fans to know that no matter how you look, where you're from, how your skin is, how your body is, that you could make your dream come true. So I'm really
Mhm.
happy and honored that after my legacy, they it went well enough that they're able to continue and keep
Mhm.
putting more diversity out into the K-pop universe. Hopefully, more companies will start
Yes, definitely.
doing that.
Oh, and also like I'm asking a lot of like very curious and somewhat controversial stuff to you because the Brazilian audience, people like they all want to know, but they don't know who to ask and where to get these kind of information. And since we
Feel
have
free
like
on.
okay,
I'm not shy. You can ask me whatever you want, and don't worry.
okay, great. And also like within the K-pop industry, what do you think that should change for better?
I think that in the K-pop industry, there is so much similarity, and there's a lot of focus on like fitting in and being the same.
Hmm.
And that's just like that's not what the world is. I feel, and I like that like perfection is a thing, but perfect comes in many different forms. So perfect doesn't mean like rail skinny and pale
I
and
agree.
straight hair. Yeah, that's not what it means. Like you can be perfect and you can be you can be completely like full and like have a full figure, and you can have short hair, you can have hair down to your toes, and they're still perfect in that own way. So I would love to see K-pop embrace the idea that whatever somebody is, they can be a K-pop star, but they just have to do it to their fullest. You know, like that's what, to me, that's what K-pop is. It's about perfecting what you are. And it doesn't have to be all one thing. It can just be everyone's unique, but they're all like fully living true to themselves and perfecting who they are, you know?
I definitely agree. Oh, that's cool. Thanks for sharing, Yan. Well, I think these were the questions, and I was wondering if can you share a little bit about your future plans? Do you plan to come back with some music to your fans?
Yeah, I'm really thankful because I feel like my fans, my bunnies have stuck by me and supported me for so long now. I didn't realize, but it's actually today it's the anniversary of Demonstrate. So that was my debut, and that was 5 years. Like, I didn't even realize that. Yeah, but fans have been sending videos and saying 5 years since Demonstrate. And so I'm so thankful that they've been here and stuck by me. I have been pretty quiet because I'm writing a book. And when I say writing a book, I don't mean like I'm telling someone and they're writing it. Like, I'm actually physically every day, like spending the whole day sitting there writing. So I've been working on this now for years, I think almost 2 years now.
Is it
And
going to be like a biography of yourself, or something, a fictional thing about something?
no, it's all real. It's a memoir of everything that I went through and the struggles and the high times. It's like, it's just everything. Like it's positive and it's the hard stuff, but it's just telling the truth, because my experience I went through to be the first Black K-pop idol with no Asian descent, it was such like a crazy experience. And I think people would really relate and benefit, because even though my experience is so specific, I think everyone could relate to that, of like wanting something so badly and being willing to like chase it to the end of the earth. And then everything that you go through and being different and trying to figure out how you can stay yourself and also fit into something you want so bad. I think it's something that a lot of people can relate to. So I'm really excited for everyone to see all the.
I'm
like,
definitely going to read it too. Can't wait.
It takes a long time, but I keep telling people, like, I am not joking you. Like, it is worth the wait. Like, all my friends, like, who know what it is, are like dying. They're like, I cannot wait for this. Not that like I want to read the whole thing, because like I'm just telling them little tidbits, and they're like, people are going to lose their minds when they hear the truth about what your life in K-pop was. So I'm sorry it's taking so long, but thank you for being there for me.
It was awesome. Thanks so much for sharing your thoughts about so many things. And yeah, I guess that's it. Thanks so much for the time, Alex. And
Thank you.
yeah. Do you want to say something to your Brazilian fans to end the interview?
Yeah, I want to say that I feel like ever since I debuted in K-pop, the Brazilian fans were like so loud, and I could always like see you guys above everything. And I just want to thank you, because I mean, I'm not from Brazil. I've never had the opportunity to visit Brazil, and I really want to. So I promise you guys one day I'm going to come there, and you guys have a really special place with me. So thank you for supporting me, even when I was brand new and you didn't know anything about me. Brazil totally have my back, and so I will always have y'all's back.